everybody. How are you today? I have to talk a little bit quieter because my husband's working midnights now and he is sleeping in the bedroom. So I got to be a little bit quiet, and I'm trying to keep these animals quiet. So it's a little bit difficult, but I just wanted to see all my friends today, and I couldn't wait to bring this recipe and share it with you guys. We're actually going to make today a spring lasagna. So for Mother's Day, we do a meal deal at the restaurant, and most people pick the lasagna as a tray to take home. So I wanted to kind of change it around a little bit and make a lighter version, but also bring in all those spring vegetables that we are used to having available to us in the gardens right now. So we're going to be making a chicken lasagna, but it's going to have spring vegetables in it. So that automatically means to me like a white sauce, which is an Alfredo or a bechamel sauce. So I'm going to show you how to make it all today, the bechamel, the vegetables, and the lasagna, and we're going to put it all together, and it's going to be a great dish. So the first thing we're going to do, I have my pans going here. I see a few people already. Hi guys. Dina, I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye to you last night. You guys left before I got out of the kitchen. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is going to heat up my pan here for the chicken. We're going to be using a ground chicken, and then we're going to saute all the vegetables with it. And then in this pan, we're going to make a bechamel sauce, which is like a white sauce that you could put in lasagnas and things like that, and it has a little bit of a nutmeg flavoring. It's really super good. And then I'm going to show you how to make the filling for it all. So it's going to come out amazing. We just got to get all these things going together. Lasagna just seems to be one of those dishes that everybody loves. As I was saying, for the meal deal at the restaurant, we offered manicotti, chicken parm, and lasagna. Most people wanted lasagna. They just love it. Hey girl, I see you. Okay, so thank you for buying my cookbook, by the way. I appreciate it. I'm so excited about it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my chicken first, and I'm going to, it's just, Purdue regular chicken in here, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the saute pan, and we're going to brown this up very lightly. We're going to season it. Throw this back here. I've already got Pepe at my heels. The minute he smells food. Today he came in from the yard, and he had a whole thing of my purple flowers in his mouth. And I was like, at first I started to get mad, but that was like, okay, that's my Mother's Day flowers from Pepe, so I didn't get too mad. Okay, so we're going to brown up this chicken in the pan here. And it only takes a second because this is a very chicken that doesn't have like any fat in it. So it's super light, and it's gonna heat up really quick, like I said. So to this, we want to put some onions. So this is just like a small onion because of this such light flavoring. We don't want the onions to overpower it. So I'm just gonna put them, I already diced them up for you guys. This is kind of like a long recipe, so I tried to save as much time as I could by getting as much prepped as I could. Okay, so our pan is heating up here, and our chicken is starting to go. So I already made one of these, and anytime I make something, like I like to bring it into my staff and see how they like it. They're always like my test kitchen, but they don't ever seem to mind. So here, Pep, over here. So for my cookbook, I was making a brownie recipe, and I just kept failing at it. I did it over and over and over, I think 3 or 4 times, and I finally got it. So it's not easy when you're trying to come up with a recipe by yourself. It's easy to open up and look in Google and open up a cookbook. So that's going. Let's start to get the next step going. So this is gonna be our filling, because lasagna has all those layers to it. So, and I wanted to show you guys, we're also gonna be using these no-bake pasta sheets like this. At the restaurant, we use fresh pasta, but here we're gonna use these, and these are not bad. These are maybe Ronzoni or Bertolli, one of those from the store, and we're just gonna use these. It's gonna really shorten things up. I remember when my mom used to make lasagna, the boiling the water with the curling noodles, and you have to place it out, and it just took so long to get done. So we're gonna save ourselves time by cutting that in half, just using the no bake. But by all means, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, go right ahead. They happen to be a bigger pasta, by the way, than the ones that you have to boil. They're I'm getting. Okay, so this is sauteing up, and what I'm going to do is show you how to make the filling. So we're going to use ricotta cheese in the middle, right from the store, right here. And I'm going to use, I measured it out before, and it came out to be about 2.5 cups of ricotta cheese. So I wasn't going to, I was just going to plop the whole container in there. And I was like, no, man, I think that's just going to be too much. So I measured it out, and it's probably about 2.5 to 3 it was. Because I did end up doing a little bit more. And we'll do one more. So it's not quite this entire container. So you have the 8-ounce one, or I think, and then you have this big one in the stores. And this is, yeah, this is 32. So it's not quite, 32, but that's okay. Okay, to this now, we're gonna add an egg. And I had to show you these eggs, green eggs, guys, really green eggs. So the book, Green Eggs and Ham, but these are green eggs. I'll show you the difference because I'll put the white one in the middle and you can see it there. A customer gave them to me at this restaurant last night. She knows, like, I'm dying to have, like, real chickens with eggs and stuff. So she bought me a dozen eggs, and when I saw the color of them, I just thought they were really, really unique. So there really is green eggs and ham. Okay, so I'm still continuing to stir around my chicken so that it gets all cooked through. And with chicken, you want to make sure it's not pink. You want to cook this through. And I'm going to keep breaking it up as we go because we don't want big clumps in our lasagna. We want it to be nice, small bites and all go together. Okay, so I'm going to crack this beautiful homegrown egg. And yeah, they're right. The yolk is like maybe as yellow as my apron. Okay, and then a little salt and pepper in here. So a little kosher salt and a little bit of black pepper. And then we're going to put in a little bit of nutmeg. I just love it. Even though it's springtime, it has like a warming smell to it, and it's so good. And then I'm going to add something a little bit different. I happen to love gorgonzola cheese, and I think this is just going to add an extra special little bite to this cheese mixture. So this is a container that you get right in the cheese section of your grocery store, and I'm just going to put it in. I always tell people if you don't like it, just leave it out. These are just my little additions here that I like. So I'm a gorgonzola fanatic. So I figured let's put it in here. Just going to mix this all up. Just like this. Now that filling was nice and easy. And you might say, well, why an egg in it? It binds it. Egg tends to bind things when they're a little bit loose, especially cheese. When you put it in there, when it bakes, it just kind of keeps it a little more solid between the layers. Okay, so that is it. How do you like that for our filling? Okay, so that's done, and so is our chicken. So this is going to come together pretty quickly. Okay, next thing I want to do is I want to take this chicken out. So we're going to just put it in a bowl over here. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit, and now we're going to start to saute all of our veggies. And the reason why I'm not just going to throw them in here is because the chicken is done. And I don't want it to get like overcooked and get really tough, because it is a ground chicken, and it's it has like no fat in it. I don't know why I went that way, because we're going to be putting this creamy sauce in it, which really isn't dietetic, but it's still good. Okay, so now we have all these really nice little bits in the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little more olive oil for the veggies now. So I'm going to start with carrots, and I wanted to show you they're right in the bag, these kind of carrots, and they're shredded. So we're going to I used a half a bag, and this is the other half. So one bag will be really good for this. And then I'm adding in just one thing of these mushrooms. You can add those in. I love that my sink is right here. I just throw everything in. And we're just going to kind of break these down. Sometimes they're sliced really nice, but sometimes they leave them in these big chunks. And we're going to now season the veggies because we already seasoned the chicken and we seasoned this. Now we got to season the veggies. We season as we go. Okay, and we're not going to cook these all the way down because they're also going to bake a little bit in the oven with the sauce and the cheese and all that. But we do have to get them soft because they will not bake or cook down in time in the oven by the time the pasta does and all the cheeses. You'll have hard veggies in there, and we don't want that. So if you, okay, my daughter is allergic to mushrooms, so you could omit the mushrooms if you wanted to. You could put zucchini in at this time if you wanted to, or even like bits of eggplant if you wanted to. Like all these different things you could do. I'm going to put spinach in mine. But if you don't like spinach, again, you could do broccoli. This is a springtime chicken and vegetable lasagna. So the choice is yours, whatever you want to put in there. But if it's a vegetable that's going to take a while to break down, you have to make sure that you cook them first. Like this carrot, they take a while. While this is going, I'm going to make a quick bechamel sauce. So bechamel sauce is a white sauce. It's an Italian white cream sauce. And it has in it nutmeg and flour and butter. So it just kind of makes like creamy consistency. You would look at it and think it's an Alfredo, but there's no cheese in it. And it's kind of like a neutral sauce that we put into things like this. Say you wanted to make a manicotti and you wanted to put seafood inside the manicotti, like a cannelloni. You would put the bechamel with it. So that's what a bechamel sauce is for. It's really good. So those are cooking down really good. And we're going to make the bechamel, but I think I forgot my butter, so just hold on 1 second. Okay. Yeah, I did. I had everything out. This is what happens when I'm always well prepared. I always forget something. Okay, so I want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. It's always such an exciting time at the restaurant because we're not open on Mother's Day. We're closed on Sundays. So it's 3 tablespoons, and you can look right on here, 1, 2, 3. We're always closed on Sundays, so we made a decision, not to open back up for Mother's Day. I have a lot of mothers that work for me, and they always appreciate having off that day. And I know some people are like, well, that's crazy. That's going to be your biggest sales day of the year. And sometimes sacrifices are worth it, but we also cater for all the moms that day. We sell the meal deals, and we did very well with them. As a matter of fact, we sold so many we couldn't do any more. Okay, these are softening up, and I put it down to low now because we just want them on a soft simmer, and we're going to kind of concentrate on the bechamel right in here. So I'm going to get this melted down. And then, it smells so good. I love it. Okay, then we're going to put into this 3 tablespoons of flour. Okay, so it's 3 tablespoons of butter and 3 tablespoons of flour. And then we're going to put in some milk. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have that all done. And we're going to start to whisk the butter and the flour together. And you have to cook flour. I don't know if a lot of people know, but flour is raw. And it just has like that raw flavor to it. So that's why you have to cook this down. And as the butter melts, it gets very thick. A lot of people know that, I'm sure everybody's made gravy before. When you put butter and flour together, it makes this really thick roux. That's the technical word for it, is a roux. So we're waiting for this to, I'm turning it up now, waiting for this to melt down, and then I'm going to add in here my spinach. So I'm using frozen spinach. I've already defrosted it and squeezed out like all that excess in it. So I have that here, and that's just going in. Okay, and then I'm just going, it automatically like enhances this. It's so beautiful. So you've got the mushrooms and the carrots, and this spinach here. And Pepe, that's my feet. Stop. It's so beautiful. I could eat this just as is. All right, so I'm going to turn the heat off because this, literally, the spinach takes 2 seconds to be cooked through. Okay, and we're done. And pretty soon, once this bechamel is done, we're going to start to assemble the lasagna. I've got that going. Okay, so our butter is dissolved and the flour is cooking. It's cooking down in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my chicken back into here, and we're just going to mix it all together. Alrighty. And you know, if honestly, like, this is actually a pretty good dish in itself right here because it's chicken and vegetables. It's delicious. I'm going to try to read some of these comments. Hi, Mark. Let me see what it says. Make this 7 cheese lasagna I had a few years back. Ah, yes. Yes, I forgot about that. I cook so much that I forget. Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna have to start to make all these old recipes that I've already had before. I apologize. Thank you for reminding me though. Okay, so we have that. This flour is bubbling on the bottom, if you can see. Hi, Fred. It was really nice seeing you the other day. I know you've been not feeling well and under the weather, but we missed you at a meat cheese. And I see Kate, Dr. Kate. Hello. Oh, she's one of my favorite customers. She's so inspiring. She just became a doctor. And we love her husband, Jay. All right, and they always come in and visit us, and we love it. Okay, that looks so good. Okay, now I'm gonna add the liquid to the bechamel here. And it's gonna be 2 cups. So I have my measuring cup out here, and I'm just going to go up to 2 cups. There we go. Put that over there, and we're gonna incorporate it in over here. Now, once this gets thick, we can start to assemble our lasagna. So we had the meat and the vegetables we put together, and then we had the filling that we put together, and now we're doing the last part with this bechamel. So imagine if you had to go ahead and cook the lasagna noodles. Hi, Eileen, how are you? I'm glad that I get to see everybody on this side of the camera now. I couldn't for a while. So I've got the cat drinking the pig's water. The pig is down here and the dog is back here. I don't know if you could see her. She's right over there. She's busy panting today. The hotter it gets, the more she pants. She's very old and she has a heart condition, so I try to keep her comfortable in here. Plus she smells the food. Okay, I'm gonna get all this out of the way because we are getting ready to assemble. Okay. All right, guys, I normally don't cook with these kind of pans because I see them every day in my life. I mean, every day of my life we are making trays of something for somebody. But when I wanted to be able to bring it to the restaurant for people to try, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna put it in here, and it works. So there we go, and no cleanup. So, okay, so let's see. We have that. Now, I counted it out in here, and it comes to exactly, when you put these down, you kind of want these to overlap a little bit. And it comes to 4 per tray. So if you're going to use a 9x13 casserole dish, which is what this is, you could put 4 down on the bottom, and they overlap. But that's what you want. You don't want spaces in between, because then all the stuff is going to seep in between there. So I counted them out. So you need 16 of these. Unfortunately, 12 come in a box. We're making 3 layers. That's why. If you wanted to shorten it, then you could just use 1 box. But I'm all about that thick lasagna. And I'm going to show, oh, this is getting beautiful. Okay, so my bechamel here is bubbling, and the more, everybody knows, like when you make a gravy, when you add the liquid to it, it gets really thick right away, and that's what we were waiting for. So now we have it. Okay. You ever become conscious of something? Somebody shared one of my videos, and I'm always appreciative when people share my videos. To me, it's the biggest compliment. I'm so grateful. Somebody shared my video on our website, and somebody said, one of the comments from one of the women on there was, you talk way too much. So I felt really bad, so I've been trying to watch what I say and not talk too much. But that's just me, I can't help it. Okay, I wanted to show you what bechamel looks like. Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful and creamy. So nice. But you know what? I was talking so much that I did forget something. I forgot the nutmeg in here. So we have to, that's a classic ingredient in bechamel, is nutmeg, and then just a little salt. Now, a lot of people like to put white pepper in theirs because they like the flavor and they don't like to see the black bits, but I'm all about those black bits. Okay, so this is the bechamel sauce. Look how beautiful and creamy this is. This is going in between the layers. So that's done. We're going to start with our bottom layer. Everybody knows how to layer lasagna. We can't just put the noodles on the bottom. We have to let them lay on something like a sheet or a bed. This is their little bed. Okay, so we're going to put that there. And we're just going to spread this around on the bottom. This is always the easiest part from here on out. Maybe I'll just put a tiny bit more. Okay, because I'm not going to put it between the layers either. I have too much cheese going on for that. Okay, so we have our bottom layer. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you have to go out. Now she has to go out. 1 second, guys. You want to go out too? There we go. They both went out, so now I'm free. Okay, so we put the lasagna on the bottom, and now we're going to go ahead and put the ricotta layer. And this is how I like to do it. No rhyme or reason. You don't have to. You could go ahead and you could put the meat down or the vegetables first, and then it's just easier to spread the vegetables on top of the ricotta mixture. And try to make sure you get the corners. I always notice, like in lasagna, those little corners, they get ripped off. They don't get all the good juicy stuff on there. And then they curl up, and people are like, oh, I got the corner piece. So let's try to remember the corner piece. So I don't know that that's the best thing for that. I'm going to get a spoon here. This is better. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and spoon on the chicken and the veggies. And we have a lot here, so you can be generous. One thing I like about lasagna is I like it to be thick. I don't want it really thin. In restaurants, typically, when you have lasagna, you don't get spaghetti or anything on the side of it, so that's it. So you have to make it worth people's while to have a nice thick piece. Okay, so I think I covered all of my space here, and I like to put shredded mozzarella in between my layers also. You don't have to. Like I said, this is my recipe, and then just a little in between there. And then I'm going to go ahead and layer the top, and I press gently so that it's even, and I push this down. 4 again. There we go, and I have it all spread out to pretty much the whole thing. And we're going to put on some ricotta here. And remember, it's got the gorgonzola in there, so that's going to give it that delicious bite. So altogether, this is going to have about 3 cheeses. So no, Mark, it's not the same one that I made years ago, but this is pretty darn close. So I think I made like a 7 cheese layered lasagna before, so it was magnificent. Okay, so we have that layer, and next comes more veggies on the top here. Now, if you were a vegetarian, this would be a wonderful dish. You just leave out the chicken. If you wanted to do this with crumbled sausage, you could as well. You could, put crumbled sausage in here. That would probably be delicious. And you could cut up some fennel and put that, because that would be good. Okay, corners again. I always try to make sure I get loading this up here. Okay, and then the next layer, so this is that was number 2. This is number 3. Press down a little bit, and then I'm going to put the rest of my ricotta mixture on here because this is the last layer. And I'm gonna spread them out. There we go. All the way. This is gonna be higher than the pan, guys, but it's gonna be delicious. I've already made one, and I can tell you it's good. And we're just gonna put the same thing on, last layer. Okay, you could put peas in here if you wanted to. That would be a good substitution. Like I said before, the zucchini, even like some chopped eggplant, if you wanted to do that. Once you start making stuff so much, your mind just becomes like so creative, and you're like, well, let me change this and let me change that. And look, everything is perfect. We have just enough for everything, so that's done. Okay, so the last layer. Oh, gotta put the shredded mozz in between here. And this is gonna be the last layer we're gonna put on. And I have my oven preheated to 375, and I baked the other tray for about 20 to 25 minutes, and it came out perfect. So we could, we're gonna just take this off of here, and then we're gonna put the rest of the bechamel sauce on. And there we go, it's perfect. Just spread it all over like that. Get those ends, those corners, and there's your perfect lasagna. My God, this looks so good. And of course, we're gonna top it off with more shredded mozz on the top. I mean, come on, we just have to. That's just the way it goes. You can never have too much cheese. Okay, it is done. And I did not cover mine. I just put it in the oven like this. Like I said, 375 for 20 to 25 minutes. So I'm going to move it on over, and I'm going to show you the finished product here, because I told you I had one done. So here it is. I mean, look how golden brown and delicious this looks. So I'm going to cut a piece off, and we're going to try it together. Let me put that out of there. Okay, I'm going to cut a little piece here for myself. Now I just made this like probably 40 minutes ago. So it's still warm. It's not as bubbly as it would be if I just took it out. Okay, look. Look how big and thick this layer is. Okay. And we're going to, here we go. Cut it here. I can't wait to taste the veggies, because I tasted them before when I was cooking them. But they're even better in here. This is very filling. I can taste the nutmeg in it, and I got all my corners, even though I have a corner piece, it's still soft. It has the chicken in it, the cheese, the bechamel is creamy. This is a delicious dish. Just want to show you again how nice and thick it is. And it's a wonderful Mother's Day dish if you wanted to make it for Mother's Day. I wish everybody happy Mother's Day, and I thank you for joining me. So now I've got 2 things of lasagna to bring into my staff. So they're really going to love me today. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.